Every day we are rewarded out in the real world with tangible things. Sometimes it's a dopamine hit, the excitement of getting to do something that we've been looking forward to do. Sometimes it's through exercise and the change that we have when we actually get out and move. Oftentimes it's just the excitement of getting home from work or spending time with a loved one. But on social media, the reward is kind of different. It's only that dopamine hit. And they've learned over the years that it's best facilitated through making us angry or sad or having those negative emotions. But is walking through life constantly on the phone really the best way to live? Hi, I'm Ryan, and I created Nyched, the world's first human interaction platform. And these are things that I'm curious about, part of the reason why I built Nyched. But let's have a conversation about it and find out if there's a better solution. Stardust is designed to mimic the way the real world operates. There's a give and a take in any conversation or interaction or any decision we make in the real world. But online, it's not really like that. There's no consequences for saying something or posting something, where in the real world, there are consequences for saying and posting things. So I wanted to create an environment where, especially if you're having a conversation with someone, it costs something to have that conversation. In the real world, it costs our time. It costs our intellect. It costs our sincere focus on what the other person is saying. And it also costs our kindness and our grace and those types of things as well in order to live in a civilized society. Online, we can just spew whatever comes into our head that moment we wake up in the morning because we didn't have our coffee yet. And there's no consequences. It really comes down to a quality over quantity mentality. Most of us drive towards having quality interactions or quality moments throughout our day. We don't want 100,000 cheeseburgers to eat. We want to have one good cheeseburger. Maybe you don't like cheeseburgers. I'm very sorry, because they're very tasty. But the point is, Nyched is focused on quality over quantity. You get that excitement and that feeling of belonging from one or two or a couple of posts, rather than feeling like you have to doom scroll throughout the whole day in order to continue to get that hit of adrenaline and dopamine that you typically get from social media. Stardust is limited. You get rewarded with Stardust when you have quality content that you post. But initially, when you start throughout the day, your first post of the day, you get rewarded with enough Stardust to make a second post in the day. Or it gives you enough Stardust to comment and start a conversation. And then when people comment and like on your content, you get rewarded for it so that you can do more. The point is so that you can create diverse, quality content and you get rewarded for it. If someone comes and likes your post, you get more Stardust. If someone comes and comments on your post, they transfer Stardust to you, because just like in the real world, there's a cost to having a conversation with someone. We've got to give up our time. So I was really trying to mimic that online so that there was some sort of cost. So you would have to really truly decide if you wanted to have that conversation, if you wanted to give that like, or if you really wanted to post that piece of content, if it was a good enough quality for everybody to see. So after hearing about Stardust a little bit, you might naturally start thinking, well, how are we going to stop spam or trolls or people from being malicious on a platform like this? And to that I would say, Stardust, I think, is the perfect way to do this. If people aren't getting commented back, because that's a transfer of Stardust, if people aren't getting likes on their post, because that's Stardust going into their bank, essentially, if their content is not being promoted by the community and the user base, it means they have less ability to do that. So their content is going to naturally fall to the wayside. Now, another question might be, well, how do we fight misinformation or disinformation or that type of thing? And for me, I would leave that up to you as the individual to decide what you want to see, when you want to see it, if you want to interact with those types of ideas or not. Maybe you just don't care if you're in an echo chamber. And to me, that's fine, because you get that ability in the real world as well. You get to choose, and that's the point. I don't want to take the power out of your hands. I want it to be in your hands. One of the biggest things that Stardust allows us to do on Nyched is to evolve in unique ways and create new and innovative ways to monetize this business. So obviously, I want to make money. That's why I've spent my time developing this. But I don't think the ad type of model in the feed where you're just inundated with advertisements is necessarily the best way to go about it. So Stardust, coupled with niches, could create environments for advertisers in the future to reward users who interact with their brand on Nyched with Stardust so that you're able to do more. The other thing that Stardust allows us to do is provide a gamification level, rewarding people for hitting certain milestones or allowing the communities to create events and rewarding people through attending and interacting with those events. Or potentially putting future digital waypoints out in the real world where if you go there, whoever created that waypoint could leave Stardust behind to reward people who have gone and discovered that waypoint. So gamification is a great way for us to couple the online interaction with the real world as well. One of the main problems on social media that I hope Stardust solves is that there's no feedback loop really to advertisers. So we've all been in the situation before where we were looking for a product for a limited amount of time, and then we found the product, purchased the product, and we still got advertisements for it for a long time. So I'm hoping that instead of pervasive advertisements on the platform, what we'll be able to do is have Stardust be a reward so that you want to interact with advertisers, and so that advertisers want to interact with you and share their products that pertain to the niches that you're following with you, so that you're not in a system where you are seeing things that you aren't interested in anymore. Hopefully with that, it would mean that there's less ads just inundating our feeds on Nyched and more of a community-based situation where the advertiser or the producer or the manufacturer is actually more of a part of the community that you're in. Stardust is an amazing way to incentivize people to make quality content that we all want to see. To take a moment and pause and think, hey, should I post that? Is that important for me to share? Are people going to want to interact with that? It's something that allows us to move past the dopamine hit culture of social media and to instead encourage one another to continue in our passions, to continue doing the things that we love to do. Nyched is the world's first human interaction platform, and it's totally within your control. Stardust is one of the pieces that puts it back into your control. To join this revolution and to learn more, go to beta.nyched.com. And if you have any ideas centered around this, I'm open to it. Please comment below and take a minute and stick around. Stay tuned for this next video. It's coming right up.